if we declare war on the cartel, like these dudes are not going to understand what the fuck is going on.
No,
like,
of course not.
They are going to be, because God,
you'll
God
stop the
bless those
distribution.
guys.
That's going to be, yeah.
They are in for a world of like ultra violence they've never actually felt before.
The U.S. Mexico border has always been dangerous, but right now it's turning into a full-blown war zone. Armed cartel members are no longer just smuggling drugs and people into the U.S. They're firing shots at American troops, launching drone attacks, and setting off deadly ambushes. And the worst part is that this wasn't supposed to happen. Just a few months ago, during his re-election campaign, President Donald Trump had a plan, a tough, no-nonsense strategy to destroy the cartels once and for all. And once elected, he labeled them terrorist organizations, sent thousands of troops to the border, and gave law enforcement more power to take them down. The idea was simple: hit the cartels so hard they'd never recover. Instead of retreating, the cartels fought back harder than ever. Now, they're not just killing their own people back in Mexico, they're killing American soldiers, border patrol agents, and anyone who stands in their way. But the U.S. isn't backing down. What they have planned is about to change the game in a way the cartels never saw coming. This is how Delta Force plans to eradicate the cartels once and for all.
If we organize these tier 1 units against them, this is going to be what I would be doing if I was down there. Like, I know all those shoe boxes in my fucking, my walls that I'm going to have to collect up. I'd be getting ready to retire right now. That's what I would be doing, because if Delta Force was hunting me, bro, I would be so terrified.
It's been leaked that President Donald Trump is planning to unleash America's most elite fighting force against the ruthless drug cartels. As the battle along the U.S. Mexico border grows deadlier by the day, Delta Force, the tip of the spear in America's special operations arsenal, is reportedly preparing to take the fight to the cartel's doorstep in ways never seen before.
They will pay a very steep and heavy price if they start using violence against our people.
The story goes back to January 20th, 2025, Trump's first day back in office. The first thing he did was sign a brutal executive order declaring certain drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations.
Under the orders I signed today, we will also be designating the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations.
This move didn't just wage war on the cartels, it opened the door for full-scale military action against them. By signing the order, Trump effectively granted himself the power to use any force necessary. Now, if you consider the scale of the U.S. military, just imagine, this is now what Trump can unleash against the cartels. The game has been leveled up in a huge way, and according to sources close to Trump, Delta Force operators are already on the ground in Mexico, carrying out high-risk missions to decimate the cartels once and for all.
Well, my fear is that the cartels are going to do something very stupid because they're playing with a whole different, there's a new cop on the block. President Trump is not President Biden, and he's not going to put up with it. Somebody's going to get hurt real bad, and I have a feeling it's going to wind up being some of these cartels.
At the border, the violence and bloodshed are escalating by the day. On February 1st, 2025, an internal memo titled Officer Safety Alert delivered a chilling warning to U.S. Border Patrol agents. Mexican cartels had authorized the use of drones equipped with lethal explosives against U.S. personnel. But what the cartels don't realize is that by escalating their warfare, they're pushing the U.S. toward deploying its most brutal military tactics, including the infamous Delta Force, an army like no other.
They would be insane to try to pull something like this with weaponized drones, targeting our Border Patrol, our National Guard troops, etc. They're going to be treated like the enemy that they are.
According to multiple sources, Delta Force, renowned for its cunning precision and unbeatable combat skills, is executing a range of deadly tactics in response to the cartel's escalation. Their operations include assassinating high-ranking cartel members, destroying drug production facilities, and blocking key smuggling routes. With state-of-the-art technology at their disposal, nothing can stop them. Once Delta Force is coming for you, there's no way out.
I'm almost positive either JD or Trump had said something with the new guy from ICE, like we're going to mobilize tier 1 units against the cartel. The only thing I thought was like, retire. If you, if you guys got some money, man, I would like put that away.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe move Jamaica.
Open
I don't
up a
know, go
restaurant.
somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Buy a restaurant. Like
Buy a
try to go
restaurant.
legit because,
Yeah, go legit.
dude, if those guys are hunting you,
Yeah.
by the way, like you're done.
One of Delta's greatest strengths is its ability to operate in any environment, no matter how harsh or brutal. From the scorching deserts of northern Mexico to the dense jungles of the south, these elite operators are trained to survive and thrive in the most unforgiving conditions. Sources say they've spent months studying the Mexican terrain, tracking cartel movements, and identifying weak points in their defenses. What's more, Delta Force is reportedly planning to target the cartel's financial system, aiming to destroy them from the inside out. Working alongside cyber warfare units, they've been launching attacks on digital currency exchanges and offshore accounts, freezing assets and cutting off the flow of money, the lifeline that keeps the cartel machine running. This strategy is designed to cripple cartel operations from every angle, hitting them where it hurts the most.
But anybody who really is deep into that culture of military and who served in uniform, we all know like Delta is a whole different caliber.
However, the cartels are not taking this lying down. They've invested heavily in intelligence to counter the U.S. enlisting former military and intelligence personnel to strengthen their defenses. Some cartel compounds are now fortified to withstand military-grade assaults, equipped with underground bunkers and extensive escape tunnels. The cartels have also shown their willingness to resort to brutal tactics, using human shields, slaughtering innocent civilians, and escalating their acts of terror.
This drone literally goes over top of these vehicles. It's a convoy of vehicles you can see right there. And you can quite literally see a bomb drop from this drone and actually make contact down there.
In response, Delta Force is deploying some of its most advanced technologies, swarms of miniature drones, equipped with thermal imaging and facial recognition software, map out cartel strongholds, identifying key targets and weak spots. Ground-penetrating radar exposes hidden tunnels and underground bunkers, while electronic warfare units jam communications and disable security systems, leaving the cartels blind and vulnerable. Meanwhile, the world watches as the situation spirals further out of control. Some nations have expressed support, while others warn that America is going too far. The United Nations Security Council is holding emergency sessions, bracing for the deadly consequences that could follow.
We're heading back to the southern border now, where News Nation's Jorge Ventura is standing by for us. And Jorge, we are hearing of a new threat by Mexican cartels tonight. What are you monitoring?
Yeah, that's right, Natasha. This is extremely alarming. Mexican authorities are now putting out a new warning of cartels planning explosives on roads, highways, and neighborhoods in Tamaulipas, Mexico, that sits right across the Rio Grande Valley. Every single day, thousands of Texans cross over to the border to visit Tamaulipas. You're looking at these three images now with three different types of explosives.
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum has publicly condemned the U.S. operation, calling it a violation of Mexican sovereignty. Yet behind closed doors, some Mexican officials are reportedly quietly supportive. The cartels have long plagued Mexico, and some see this as a rare opportunity to finally break their grip on power. But while Trump's actions might deal a serious blow to the cartels, there's also the looming threat of retaliation. Some experts warn that military intervention will only escalate the violence, triggering a wave of bloodshed unlike anything seen before. The cartels are loyal to no one but themselves, and the aftermath could be catastrophic for both U.S. and Mexican civilians. The reality is undeniable. The cartels pose a massive threat to the U.S. For years, they've grown unchecked, their influence seeping further into American soil. It was only a matter of time before something had to give. Now, that moment has arrived. Mexican drug cartels aren't just at the border anymore. They're in the heart of America. According to the DEA, the Sinaloa and Jalisco New Generation cartels have established a presence in nearly every major U.S. city. Let that sink in for a moment. The most violent criminal organizations in the Western Hemisphere are operating right under our noses, and the numbers are horrifying. And it's only gotten worse since then. These aren't small-time operations. These are lethal, highly sophisticated networks, but their influence extends far beyond drugs. The cartels are deeply involved in human trafficking, money laundering, and cybercrime. They've infiltrated government agencies and commercial institutions, using cutting-edge technology to stay ahead of law enforcement.
100,000 Americans each year are dying of overdoses coming across our border with the cartels. Human trafficking, child sex trade. It's really so horrible you can hardly contemplate it. And now we've got a president that is willing to do something about it and back it up with force. And the first thing he did was to designate these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. It's about time. Thank you, Mr. President, for doing that.
The most terrifying part of this invasion? The body count. Fentanyl, the cartel's weapon of choice, has become the leading cause of death for Americans aged 18 to 45. In 2022 alone, over 109,000 Americans died from drug overdoses, with synthetic opioids like fentanyl driving the surge. That's more lives lost in a single year than the entire Vietnam War. The cartel's tactics are as brutal as they are effective. They use drones to smuggle drugs across the border, employ sophisticated money laundering schemes, and wield extreme violence to maintain control. In Mexico, they dissolve bodies in acid, dead rivals, and leave dismembered corpses in public as gruesome warnings. Now, those same tactics are making their way onto U.S. soil, and the problem is only escalating. In just 7 months of 2023, U.S. Customs and Border Protection seized 17,200 pounds of fentanyl, enough to kill every American 10 times over. And that's just what was caught. Experts warn that far more is slipping through undetected.
Our country is being poisoned from within by the drugs and by all of the other crime that's taking place. The drug cartels are waging war in America, and it's now time for America to wage war on the cartels.
Here's the truly terrifying part. The cartels are evolving faster than we can counter them. They're laundering an estimated $25 billion per year through Bitcoin and e-commerce. They're recruiting American teens via social media to act as drug mules. They're even setting up front companies inside the U.S., like the horse ranch in Oklahoma that was secretly used to launder drug money. Their reach extends to places you'd never expect. No community is safe. They're corrupting local officials, infiltrating legitimate businesses, and turning American neighborhoods into battlegrounds for their turf wars. The violence is escalating, too. Cartel hitmen, trained in military tactics, are carrying out assassinations on U.S. soil. Armed with advanced weapons, including explosive-laden drones, they are targeting law enforcement with a level of brutality America hasn't seen since the days of Prohibition.
Every day, drug traffickers are using the waters of our region to ship their lethal poisons to America, killing so many of our people and ruining families. In addition to restoring strong border security, I will deploy all necessary military assets, including the U.S. Navy, to impose the full naval embargo on the cartels.
The cartels are no longer just a foreign problem. They're here, entrenched, and more powerful than ever. As we stand on the precipice of this new era, one thing is clear: the war against the cartels is no longer confined to the border.
We will defend this line. And in talking to the men and women in uniform, they're proud to be here. They're excited to be here. They're motivated to be here because they're defending their friends, their family, their communities, their church, their schools, their loved ones from an invasion of people whose intentions we don't know. Guys and gals of my generation have spent decades in foreign countries guarding other people's borders. It's about time we secure our own border.
The truth is, deploying Delta Force against the cartels might be the only way for the U.S. to finally gain the upper hand. But one thing is certain: doing so marks a new chapter in the war on drugs, and what follows will undoubtedly be unlike anything we've seen before. Former Delta operator Brent Tucker spoke about the U.S. mission against the cartels, acknowledging the challenges ahead. Will it be easy? Will there be some losses? Of course, it's a dangerous game. However, he also expressed unwavering confidence in Delta Force's ability to dismantle the cartels.
You're sorely mistaken. We would absolutely wipe the floor with them. Will it be easy? Will there be some losses? Of course, it's a dangerous game.
The operation, however, faces immense challenges. Unlike other drugs, Fentanyl production is easy to hide. Many cartel facilities are located in crowded urban centers, making strikes against them potentially catastrophic in terms of civilian casualties. Moreover, the cartels have proven resilient, capable of restructuring and adapting even after high-profile leaders are taken down. Despite these difficulties, sources say that Delta Force has already made its mark. Several high-ranking cartel members have reportedly been captured or killed, and major drug production facilities have been destroyed. While the details of these victories remain classified, it appears that Delta Force has already begun eroding the cartel stronghold.
Those cartels, they make a living beating up on the innocents. They make a living as they're more of a terrorist organization, right? What do terrorist organizations do? They hit people when they're not looking. They put car bombs.
Prey on the weak.
They prey on the weak. They are the equivalent of people in man jams and flip-flops in Mexico. And if you think they're in the shoot house every day like a tier 1 element, if you think they're on the flat range every day like a tier 1 element, if you think they have the technology and the assets of a tier 1 element has, you're sorely mistaken. We would absolutely wipe the floor with them.
But an even more sinister element of this war is unfolding, not just on the battlefield, but online. The conflict between the cartels and the U.S. has spilled into social media. The cartels are spreading fake information to sow confusion and undermine public support for the U.S. This means that some of the information appearing on your phone could be cartel propaganda.
Videos like these are difficult to verify, but the cartel TikTok hashtag on TikTok shows a lot of clips apparently showing off the lifestyle of cartel members. The videos appear to show trucks with stacks of white powder blocks or cars with secret compartments for drug smuggling. But the grim reality, the danger and violence of actual everyday life in the cartel are nowhere to be seen.
Even more terrifying, as the battle continues and gets bigger, it's looking like the cartels might take the war to U.S. soil. Experts are warning that the war might escalate larger than anyone could have predicted. Intelligence agencies are currently on high alert for signs of planned attack, and security has been increased at potential targets across the country. But even with these preparations, knowing the ruthlessness of the cartels, it begs the question, how long do we have left until they start reaping revenge on the U.S.? It's a ticking clock, and every day we get closer to a full-blown war. As for now, we can only wait to see the consequences of Delta Force stepping in. While they might make a significant blow to the cartels in the short term, history has shown that the cartels are adaptable and resilient. Even if current cartel leadership is removed, new groups may simply rise to take their place. As Delta Force continues its shadowy war against the cartels, the world watches and waits. One thing is certain, the outcome of this operation could change the course of history forever.
The cartels aren't going to take this lightly. When we secure the border,